Christina Lake. Now, I'd like to make the next 2 points very important here. They're in direct conflict with British Columbia's greenhouse gas emission objectives. Why? Most of the energy they're generating here in the plant, if it would ever work, they could not utilize. They could do a little bit of power, but the heat, the waste heat they're generating, which is, I was generous, I said 50%, could be significantly higher, cannot be used. There are no people here. We're talking about heating 30 to 50,000 households. We need a big industry. There's a good reason why all these modern waste incinerating plants are near industries that could utilize it, or near in big cities where people can use it. Definitely in the summer, today I definitely had no use for waste heat, nobody here. Now, if I understand they want to truck these things from California, I just did some calculations here from LA. We would be generating 11,000 tons per year of carbon dioxide just for trucking the material to us. And if you don't use the waste heat, as I said, we have another 15,000, and I was generous there, could be even twice as high. Modern plants in Europe, they operate with less than 50 people. These are plants that are much bigger than this one. I don't know where they generate these 100 jobs or whatever they have. They have no concept for the slag and waste and salts. In Europe, it was very clearly stated, slag, if you ever generate it, has to rest, has to be in air for at least 3 months before you could utilize it elsewhere. So it has to age somewhere. I don't know how they want to do it here on site. Quite a mess. Economies of scale, again, these figures are coming from one of the very big operators in Europe. They dictate that the optimum economies are for a plant of 300,000 tons a year, not 100,000 tons a year. It's capital cost as well as operating cost. So, I want to finish in 2 minutes. Christina Lake. You all know Christina Lake. I can't get away from this microphone, but I have my laser pointer. Does that work? This is one of these modern screens that don't accept laser pointers. Anyway, you see the US border, the line there, and you see Christina Lake, the village, and you see on the left Grand Forks. And the wind is blowing into the area. It either goes up north of the lake or south to our friends in the US. The mountains, as you know, a couple of hundred meters higher than the lake. So what do we see from here? It's a perfect trap for any emissions. Dioxins and other emissions, they stay there forever. They will accumulate. They will never be able to leave, even if they build a 300-meter high stack, not only a 90-meter high stack. We have no utilization for waste heat. We cannot provide large amounts of groundwater, and we cannot absorb an awful lot of wastewater. I don't know where it would want to go. We have no workforce specialized in this process. It will have to come in from outside. And we are exposed to forest fires. Now, just to show you this, forest fires are very important. They need oxygen in the plant. They need an oxygen plant in there for the thermoselect plant, for the gasifier. An oxygen plant is a bomb. It happened, I know very well about this process here. Shell in Malaysia has one of the most important plants in the world. They're protected with everything they could do. You know, it's very, very important for the plant, for the company. So 10 years ago, you may remember the big forest fires in Indonesia, and the dusts were flown across the ocean and ended up on one of the heat exchangers of the Shell Bintulu oxygen plant. They had an explosion. The heat exchanger was found a couple of kilometers down the road later. The plant was shut down for 2 years, I think. Just to highlight to you, things can happen and do happen, even with the best companies that took every precaution they can to protect their investment. So those things are here. We will be exposed to it. Okay, we talked about the air, water pollution and the health risks that we will face in the future. Yes, 3 more points. The environmental cleanup and disaster zones we're dealing with, the risk. And now my summary slide. No industrial waste nightmare in Christina Lake. And I'm talking to you as a private citizen who has his cabin and his house here. but also as a project manager who knows about these systems, and as an engineer who designed complex process facilities. Thank you very much.